Here are the videos that I have planned for 2022. An overview video explaining to you all my own Thomas AU that I'll be using in my originally written stories, sometime in mid-January. Me reading the first 13 of said stories. That will be starting in early February. The re-edited and updated version of my CGI Fireman Sam rant video. This is the only one that has a specific release date, the 27th of April, because I'm hoping to get it done on the 5th year anniversary of the original video's upload. And if there's any time for me to do a video of me reviewing other nostalgic videotapes or DVDs, then Season 1 of my Equestria Girls series. It will hopefully start sometime in either August or September. A third video where I talk about 5 more Nintendo Switch games sometime in July. Give up, give up, give up, kill me. Give up. I really need to stop jinxing myself every time I make these yearly updates. I need to stop saying 2020X is the worst year I've ever lived in, because it keeps getting worse every single year. 2020 was the worst because COVID had ruined all of our lives. It actually was the worst year I had ever lived in IRL. 2021 was bad because I was overworking myself with shitty Wi-Fi in some areas. It was the quickest and hardest I have ever worked on a project. And not in a good way. But I think 2022 is a contender for the worst because I didn't work as hard as I did last year, and as a result, I only uploaded 7 videos total. A self-roasting update, a now outdated video, a re-edit of when I was once seen as a man-child, part 1 of a 13-part series, a live stream nobody watched, a Switch video that had no reason being as long and as complicated as it was, and now, the obvious reason for this lack of life on this channel this year is burnout. After working my ass off trying to get Tomtober finished and uploaded before the end of last year, I didn't feel like doing something like that ever again. The series may have had decent editing, high quality show footage, widely accepted opinions, decent humor here or there, and it was very highly praised before and after it ended. But I'm not rushing any of my projects for a deadline again. I no longer want to push myself hard over the limit to get something done. Except, the projects you have seen this year were way more complex to complete than Tomtober will ever be. That series was just editing a bunch of footage together, and that was under a time crunch. But for my third Switch Games Opinions video, for example, not only was each game review around 20 to 30 minutes long, with loads of editing, masses of footage to use, a long script with loads of comments and important things to remember, but there are 6 entirely pointless animated segments, if you can even call it animation, with different backgrounds, different settings, humor, dialogue, constantly moving characters, and voice lines from a voice actor from a different community than what you would normally associate me with. And I'm not even a part of that community. And the Sodor Stories audio adaptations are even harder, believe it or not, because not only do I have to write the stories themselves with loads of originality, interesting characters, barely seen interactions, and staying as close to the characters as possible, but then I have to draw entire backgrounds with lots of detail and loads of contrasting colours, as well as the engines and occasional humans in the foreground. Also, I don't care if the pictures you see in that series is just traced screenshots from the TV show. You try drawing backgrounds like these. It's not easy, is it? And that's not even including me recording myself reading the stories, editing the recordings, getting voice lines from other VAs, and occasional sound effects. This would be a lot different if I had something like Trains 2019 or whatever the latest reliable version of that game is. Add a PC to run it all smoothly. All I would need to do is record the screen of me moving some engines and their eyes around in a couple dozen angles and sets. I think the hardest part of that process is asking permission from one of the ones who made whatever, say, Nia or Rebecca models I would use to change their liveries to my liking. But with the way I am currently doing it, since my readings are structured and edited the same way as my Railway Series reading videos from 2020, I want those drawings to have as much detail and look as appealing as those original paintings, with what little I have. But that's the entire problem. The amount of detail I am putting into these barely viewed videos. I really don't want to be, those kinds of channels. The ones that upload 1 or 2 videos a year, if any at all, because they are putting so much stuff, detail, and effort into what they are making. But then you people say that it's alright for me to take my time on this literal shit, because you know you will like whatever I put out in the end. But then when I do focus all of my time working instead of uploading, some of you guys ask me if I'm still alive and are surprised when I do upload something, even something as small as a live stream or a community post. I am still around all the time. I check Twitter and YouTube every single day. I am just neck deep in things getting in the way of uploading anything. For one thing, I had to spend what feels like a quarter of the whole year babysitting this dog my parents just forced into all of our lives for no good reason at all. She's not even a year old, she's annoyingly hyperactive, she never sits still, she plays, quote, with my other dogs with her teeth, and no one can trust her for a single second. So I had to spend a lot of my time away from video editing, picture drawing, and even recording my own voice for anything anymore. I'm just lucky right now, because I constantly have to keep my eyes on this little bitch to make sure she doesn't piss anywhere. Oh, did I mention yet that I absolutely hate dogs? I had also been spending less time drawing the Squid Sisters and more time updating a wiki I am making all about Sodor stories. That's right, a whole entire wiki based on my own Thomas AU. Because Sodor Stories is not just a continuation of the first 21 seasons of the TV show, unchanged, unaltered, and with those awful episodes attached. No. It's full of rewritten stories, omitted stories, stories with different endings, different locations, different dialogue or narration, on top of the original stories I have written myself. AKA seasons 16 and 17. So I have made a wiki to explain which season has which episodes, a page to each episode, a transcript for each episode, characters, voice actors, locations, railways, branch lines, maps. The pages are endless. Not to mention, I am constantly buying more Switch games every year to see what I'll review for a future video or just play in my spare time. If I don't keep playing Splatoon 3 every day, I'm clearly gonna miss out on a couple things. There's my real-life job, the occasional family get-together, like my recent holiday to Florida, constantly watching YouTube and Twitter to see the latest news and not be behind the times, and then there's just this. Seriously, Tomtober and my other projects this year and beyond have left me so burnt out that I'm actually ending up sleeping during the day sometimes. What has my life fucking become? And you know, I'm struggling enough as it is to finish one 2-hour-long Switch video and just 2 Sodor Stories adaptations, and yet there were other projects I announced last year that I still haven't even started work on yet, like my Equestria Girls series that I said I would work on in every single update video in the past, 3 years? Yeah. I still haven't even started animation on that series. Still, I have received all of the voice lines I will need and everything, but there is already so much stuff on my plate that there is just no room to properly start any production on this series. A tiny glimmer of hope is that I won't have to redraw backgrounds for this series. I just need to put some crudely drawn rainbow people on top of photos I took. But when it's hard for me just to move Marie's arms, eyes and mouth every 5 seconds, this still won't be easy. Now, half of me really wants to just cancel this Equestria Girls series of mine, because the VA's voice lines had been sent to me about 2 years ago at this point. The official Equestria Girls series has long since ended, and everyone has moved on to Gen 5 now, and I'm not into the MLP series as a whole anymore as I used to. But, on the other hand, even though there is no complex story or character arcs in this series, each episode's plot is overly simple and didn't require much thought, there is a controversial redesign of a beloved character, and the visuals will look worse than even High Guardian Spice's animation, because at least that show had original painted backgrounds and they actually made their characters move. I don't want to cancel this series because, well, it features voice lines from lots of different people. I asked them politely if they would like to be a part of this little forgettable series. They agreed, and they actually took time out of their already packed schedules to read my script, record lines for their respective character, and send the recordings to me. And now I feel like I need to return the favour by finishing the project they recorded lines for. If I cancel this series after months or years of them waiting, then I would have just wasted their time and broken their expectations. It's almost like your favourite TV show getting cancelled. You were eagerly awaiting what will become of this interesting idea, only for you to never find out because of production difficulties. So, I'm really at a Y path with this series. I really don't know whether to cancel it and get a lot of stress out of my system, or start work on Season 1 at a later date, because I don't want to disappoint the voice actors. And I doubt that this series will be as well praised as Tomtober or Sodor Stories anyways, because by then, no one will even know what an Equestria Girls is. So, I gave myself specific release dates, and that didn't work. Then I gave myself estimated months of release, and that still didn't work. So now, I now have to get rid of any form of release altogether. I am no longer going to tell you all what date or month these future projects will be uploaded, because I am betting all of my money that they will never be uploaded on time. So, here is a list anyway of my upcoming projects that will be released in either 2023, 2024, 2025, 2057, I don't fucking know! An updated video explaining the entire timeline of Sodor Stories, going through all the characters, old, new, or reworked, every canonical episode, and every changed element and etc., as well as showing you the whole Sodor map for this series, and how each station and yard is structured, as soon as I have finished writing and even drawing every important page for the wiki. In fact, I'm thinking about devoting the rest of 2023 to just finishing everything I currently have for Sodor Stories. Like, finish writing the rest of the stories I have planned, finish the entirety of the wiki, if that's possible, do all the important pages, make all the pictures I need of the engines and backgrounds, locations, stations, do all I can with actual story pictures for the adaptations, finish the adaptations themselves. So the entirety of 2023 is going to be devoted to me finishing what I have for Sodor Stories, which means the majority of the projects you're going to hear next will most likely not be seen or edited on or worked on until like 2024, the big 10-year anniversary. So sorry. A fourth Switch review video, of course, with, hopefully, Claude voicing herself, Callie, and Marie one last time. I'm going to give Off the Hook the spotlight after this fourth video. Hopefully, the remaining 11 Sodor Stories adaptations that I had already finished the audio for nearly 2 years ago. If only all of the previous VAs will still be alive by the time I do the next batch of stories to adapt for audio. Once I have ever finished writing them, that is. I had written half of a script of me watching 2 Tales of the Riverbank videotapes, but I doubt that video will see the light of day. I really want to animate and upload Season 1 of my Equestria Girls series and get it out of my system before my 10-year anniversary, but the next Switch video will make it impossible at this point. And speaking of which, something really big and really controversial, which I really need to finish and upload on the very date, a project called I Cancel Myself After 10 Years. A huge multi-hour long video where I look back on the past 10 years of me making YouTube videos, cringe at all of them, repeatedly move the gun out of my mouth, question my subscriber count, and tell my honest feelings on my earliest videos. You people probably won't look at me the same way again. I know this sounds like an unbelievably big order, but if I want this to be a real anniversary, I need to get it finished on Sunday, the 28th of January 2024. Not on the Monday, not on Tuesday, not 8 weeks afterwards, on that very Sunday. Now, I know what you're thinking. Why don't you just hire editors to do half of the work for you? You won't have so much to do if you have a team of editors or something. Now, I see what you're saying, but A, people editing videos at my usual runtime require to get paid for their work, and I don't have a penny to give anyone. And B, I think Cad Icarus said it best in his latest video. If I asked other people to work on my video, then I feel like it wouldn't be me. Only I know in my head how I want everything to be written, how certain scenes should be played out, how I want the videos to be edited. The only time I will collaborate with anyone is usually voice actors, as you've clearly seen countless times before. And like he also said, I really want these videos to be somewhat enjoyable or rewatchable, and I want to focus more on quality more than quantity. That is why it's going to take me 2 years or something to adapt just 13 Thomas stories. That is why there has been a 5-month delay since the last Switch video's upload. It's because I am spending more time working on the background, on the details in them, making sure Callie, Marie, Claude, the engines, the humans, etc. look presentable and not just half-assed drawings, making sure what I write is as original as possible, as entertaining as possible, making sure to add humor when necessary, and that there is something resembling effort into what I do. Making videos for YouTube is one of the few things I like doing in my life anymore, and I don't want it to feel instead like a painful, exhausting job by giving myself deadlines. But if I don't give myself deadlines, people will think that I'm either lazy or slacking, and they will keep asking me where I am, if I'm still alive, if the video is cancelled or whatever. And some of the things I'll say in these videos will be dated by the time they are finally finished, like the Sonic Frontiers reference in the Switch video. So I don't know what to do anymore.